Today we will discuss the concept of derivative of a function. Now the derivative of a function f at a point x naught is defined as f prime x naught, and that is equal to f prime x naught is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x naught plus h minus f of x naught divided by h, provided this limit exists. We say that okay, we have to find derivative or differential coefficient of any function at a point x naught or a point at x. Suppose then what we are actually finding out, you see f is a function, the value of f depends upon x, so this is my fx. In this fx, x is the independent variable, that is it is lying in the domain, and fx is the dependent, that is y is equal to fx. So the value of y or fx depends upon the value of x. When there is a change in value of x, so suppose x changes from x to x plus h, naturally there will be a change in value of f also. So f will change from f of x to f of x plus h. So what is change in x? X plus h minus x. And what is change in f? That will be f of x plus h minus f of x. So when somebody asks you what is the rate of change of function, so that will be f of x plus h minus f of x divided by x plus h minus x, that is h. So this is rate of change of f. Now what is the value of this rate at any given instant or at any given point x? So in that case what we'll have to do, we will have to take the limit that this h is tending to 0. So when we take that limit h tends to 0, we get the value of that rate at x. So this is called f prime x is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Now since this is limit, there are certain cases in which the limit of a function cannot exist or does not exist. So if this limit does not exist, then we will say that derivative also does not exist. If this limit exists, then we will say that function has got a derivative or a differential coefficient at that point x. Now for this limit to exist, what is the condition? The condition is that the right hand limit is equal to left hand limit. This concept of derivative has got geometrical applications also. It was derived to find instantaneous velocity or instantaneous speed. We will see the geometrical interpretation of this definition. Suppose I have been given a curve y is equal to fx. This curve is given by this blue line, and I have to find the slope of this curve at say point P. Okay, now you see, suppose this is my point P given by x naught, and I take any arbitrary point q at a distance h from this x naught. So what will be the x coordinate of this point q? It will become x naught plus h. What will be value of this function at q? It will be f of x naught plus h, and the value of function at p is f of x naught. When I join these 2 points p and q, I will get a secant. This line is called secant. Now what will be the slope of this secant? Slope of any line is rise over run, that is this height divided by this base. What is this height? This height is f of x naught plus h minus f of x naught. So this height is f of x naught plus h minus f of x naught divided by base. What is base? Base is h. So what is this thing? This thing is the slope of this secant line, the slope of line PQ. Okay. Now what happens as you keep on moving this point q towards p, that is as you shift this secant line, that is as you shift this point q closer and closer to p, actually what happens that this q goes and merges into p, so that this q and p become, ultimately these 2 points become 1 point, that is this q will go along this curve and ultimately it will go and merge with this point p. So at this juncture, when this line PQ is tilted, and it is tilted in this way so that this Q goes and becomes P, as I shift this point Q closer and closer to P, this secant PQ becomes the tangent line at P. So when this point goes closer and closer to P, what is happening? This H, that is x0 plus H, is going towards x0, that is limit H tends to 0. So as limit H tends to 0, this slope, that is the slope of the secant line PQ under this limit H tends to 0 will become the slope of the tangent line at point P. So the derivative of a function at x0 or the slope of the tangent at x0, both are one and the same thing, because in last slide I had shown that this m is nothing but f prime x0. We can define derivative in another way also, like I had defined that the derivative of the function fx with respect to variable x is f prime x is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Instead of x plus h, suppose I take my point as z, then what will this definition become? This will become f of z minus f of x. Now my z is x plus h, so I can write my h as z minus x. There are many ways to write the derivative of y is equal to fx. Like we can write it as f prime x, this is read as f prime x, or the derivative of f with respect to x, or we can also write it as y prime, or we write it as dy by dx, the derivative of y with respect to x, or we write it as df by dx, or we sometimes write it as d by dx fx, the derivative of f of x. Note, dx does not mean d into x. So this is a very simple thing. Dx does not mean d into x. Dx is a very small quantity which is very close to 0 but not exactly equal to 0. Similarly, dy does not mean d times y. Similarly, you see dy by dx does not mean dy divided by dx. Okay, don't until and unless, except when it is convenient to think of it as division. In certain rules of differential coefficient, like for finding chain rule or some product rule, sometimes we interpret it as dy by dx as dy divided by dx just for the sake of understanding, but dy by dx does not mean dy divided by dx. Let's make it very clear, this is not same as dy divided by dx. In fact, you see dy by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta x. This is clear to all of you. And now this thing delta y by delta x, this is a simple quotient of two numbers, delta y and delta x. So since these are two numbers, so whatever I can say that okay, this is delta y divided by delta x, because this delta y and delta x are finite numbers, say 10 to the power minus 6 or 0.005, 0.003. But this dy and dx, they are notations. Notation, that is when delta x tends to 0, my delta x can be denoted by dx and my delta y can be denoted by dy. Okay. Similarly, df by dx does not mean df divided by dx, except when it is convenient to think of it as division. That is, it is convenience just for getting an intuitive understanding of any derivation of a theorem or anything. Otherwise, this df by dx, strictly speaking, does not mean df divided by dx. Okay. Similarly, d by dx of fx, this also does not mean d by dx times fx. Okay. Now let's see one geometrical application. Suppose I have been given this question where this is my graph of function y is equal to fx. Now we know that the derivative is the slope of the original function. So what will be the derivative? You see, from this point to this point, derivative is constant, so it will be a straight line. Similarly, from this point to this point, derivative will be this. From this to this, derivative will be this. So this is also again constant. And from this to this, it is a downward sloping curve, derivative will be negative, so it is -1. So the derivative is defined at the end points of a function on a closed interval. Now let's find derivative of this function y is equal to x square minus 3. You can find it using the theorems of the derivative, finding derivative, which I will discuss in subsequent slide, or you can finding using the first principle also, that is by taking limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus, that is using this thing, limit h tending to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. When you find derivative of any function using this principle, it is also called finding ab initio. Ab initio meaning finding from the first principle. So let's find derivative of this function y is equal to x square minus 3. So what will be y prime or derivative? Instead of x, I have to take f of x plus h, so it will become x plus h whole square minus 3 minus f of x is x square minus 3. When you expand it, you will get x square plus 2xh plus h square. Now this x square will be cancelled. Similarly, this minus 3 and this minus 3 will be cancelled. So you will be left with 2xh plus h square divided by h. So 2xh plus h square divided by h. So this h and this h will be cancelled. Now how I can divide by h? Because although you see this limit h tends to 0, but division by h is possible. In fact, that is the whole idea, that was the whole rationale for using this concept of limit, because this h, although very small quantity, but this h is not equal to 0. So I can divide numerator and denominator by h. Once I divide numerator and denominator by h, I will get limit h tends to 0, 2x plus h. When I take limit of this thing, this h will go to 0, so my limit will be 2x. So derivative of y is equal to x square minus 3 is 2x. Okay, the same thing you could have found using the formulas of finding derivative, the power rule and the product rule, those kind of things, which we will discuss in subsequent slides. Now a function is differentiable if it has a derivative everywhere in its domain. Okay. Now a function to be differentiable, it must be continuous and smooth. You see, what does continuity mean? Continuity means that your function has got no gap, that is, there is no breakpoint. So nothing like this or this kind of things. So your function should not have these kind of things, that it should not be having any breakpoint or any gap. By derivative, that if I say that okay, the function is differentiable, I mean that the functions should be smooth. Okay, so what kind of functions will not have derivative? I will show you. For example, to be differentiable, a function must be continuous, obviously, because if your function is not continuous, then there is no point talking about derivative there, because you cannot find unique tangent or unique derivative at this point. So for a function to be differentiable, a function must be continuous, that is without any gap or without any breakpoint. So your function must be continuous and smooth. So derivative will fail to exist at such things. You see why? At this corner, derivative or the tangent of this line is +1. Tangent of this line will be -1. If suppose this is modulus f of x is equal to modulus x is the function. So this limit is not equal to this limit. So this corner point will not have derivative. Similarly, this cusp, it is going like this. So at this point also, the function will not have a unique tangent, or this function will not be differentiable. At this point also, because your tangent is vertical, so it will not be differentiable here. And at this point also, why? Because this function is discontinuous. So the moment this function is discontinuous, you cannot have derivative at that